Alright, hello everyone who is here this evening for this invitational tournament. So, we're going to have 8 pretty solid players playing tonight to kind of end Generation 8. It's been an absolute great generation. And before we get started, I of course want to say thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to me all along. Oh, I can hear myself. Yo, what's up, Shackle? So, before we go into this, let me go over kind of who our players are going to be tonight. This is not the bracket, this is the old bracket. For some reason, why is that there? That should not be there. Let me just get the proper bracket up first. Go back to tournaments here. I should have it. Yes, here it is for real this time. So our players today, first seed, we have, the seeds are random just in case anyone's curious. I decided to randomly generate these seeds. We have had players who have played in tournaments of mine previously, but I think for the sake of fairness, I just decided to randomly generate them. So Sergeant Milkshake's number 1. They're a very strong player. Definitely a very potentially strong dark main to watch out for. So been in the community for a while now. I think been playing monotypes for some time. Also, what's up, Tommy? Welcome to the stream. How are you keeping? Robbie is, by his own admission, Robbie is not a Generation 8 player. Robbie has been playing a lot of Generation 7, an insanely good Generation 7 player, Generation 7 monotype player. But I only passed into some Generation 8 teams last night, but by definition, has been a fantastic Generation 7 monotype player. He is, of course, going to be a fantastic Natdex mono player. Old Man Root Beer, probably one of the best flying mains I know. Also, the leader or co-leader, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Old Man Root Beer, of the Venetian League. So definitely a strong opponent to watch out for, especially because he plays a top tier type. Yo, what's up, Milkshake? We're ready? Okay, cool. 2 seconds. Let me send you the invite on your match on Showdown and I can join. Med, I don't know too much about Med as a player. They definitely like defensive playstyles. I think they're a fan of like poison, normal, kind of cool, tricky types like that, which I feel kind of makes sense. But definitely want to watch out for. Hopefully, it doesn't stall the tournament for too long, but we shall see. Cake as well. She is a fairy main. Hope you're doing well. Have a nice evening, afternoon. Yes, thank you so much, Tommy. I'm doing pretty good. Just got off a 10-hour shift at work. It's now 10 o'clock at night, but I'm off tomorrow, so all good. And I hit 500 subs, so again, thank you so much. So Cake is a fairy player. Definitely one to watch out for because fairy is a really good type, and as far as I know, she has been playing for quite a while. We have Davo next. Davo is probably, in my opinion, from what I've seen of players who I know from Generation 8, the most improved player I've seen this generation. Not to say, obviously, he was never bad, but how much he's improved since I knew him at the start of Generation is insane. So, definitely an up-and-coming top-level player, I think, for Generation 9. Next, we have Shackled. I don't know too much about Shackled beyond the fact that he is a Slowbro main, which is majorly respectable. So we have to give shout out to him. Probably going to rock up with, I would think, maybe Poison, Water, or Psychic, if I was to guess. And finally, we have Plat, last but not least. People who are familiar with my live streams will be familiar with Plat. She's a good friend of mine, and she is a Ghost Fairy main. Maybe you will surprise us today by not playing Ghost Fairy. So the thing about playing a multi tournament is you don't want to be counter-teamed. So I'm kind of curious to see what she's going to rock up with today. Is it going to be her Ghost or Fairies, or is she going to take something completely different? So with that in mind, let me invite to the games, please. So I think first off, we're going to be playing. Our first game is going to be Sergeant Milkshake versus Plat. And again, these seeds are completely randomized. As I said, I decided not to actually seed them, I suppose, normally or properly because it's such a small invitational. I think everyone here is roughly at a relatively decent skill level or similar skill level, so I didn't know how to properly seed it. So from this point, we're just going to wait for the first games to go between Plat and Sergeant Milkshake. Oh, yeah, which ultimate are we on? Yeah. Very good question. Alex, we need to wait for that match to complete. Check Discord. My bad. Yeah, if you can wait for the matches to complete, that would be preferable. Just so I can kind of commentate. I am Plat, I'm evil, ground resist poison. This is unconfirmed. What do you think of normal type? I think in Generation 8, it's not very good. I think it's missing some of its tools, like Z Porygon Z, Mega Lopunny. But I think in Natdex, normal is probably one of the best types. I'm actually kind of hoping we see some normal tonight. And I think normal as a type, though, is very cool. Just as like a thematic type, I think it's a very, very solid one. I have high hopes for it in Gen 9, hopefully. Have you guys started your match yet? So we have a lot of the players here in chat today. Thank you all for showing up. It means a lot to me. I've been looking forward to this all day. And this is actually Shackle Founder's idea to do this tournament as a 500 sub special. So hopefully, hopefully in Generation 9 we'll have even more. What do you think of the new starters? I sent you the link there. Oh, I didn't see the link on Discord. I farted, thanks. Thank you. What do you think of the new... I really like the new starters, but because I know there's some people in the chat who are trying to go into the game without knowing anything, I'll refrain from talking too much about them, or about Generation 9 in general. But I think they look really good. Oh. I don't see... I don't see no invitation. Oh, I see it. I'm an idiot. Sorry. My bad. Let me just drag this over here. Okay. So we have the first game. As expected, I'm in, guys. So it's cool to see Platinum wins, or Plat showing up with her best type, the Ghost type. I didn't expect Sergeant Milkshake or Diana Black, as they're going by today, to rock up with Water, but I think it makes sense. Water is a very, very strong tournament type. Of course, best of luck to both competitors right now. I'd love more of these. Yes, hopefully now, what I'd like to see in Gen 9 is 1,000 subscribers, and we'll do another invitational. That was a great swap in there from Diana to eat the Thunderbolt. I think losing Pelipper early in this game would have been very bad for them. Now, I do think Plat has to worry about a Volt Switch here. It kind of gives... It's not a Volt Switch, a Flip Turn. I think it kind of gives Diana pretty much perfect answers to most weapons. Of course, Will-O-Wisp is extremely crippling to a physical water team. Slowking has, I think, a surprising amount of value in this game, despite the fact it being a Psychic type. There's nothing really that loves swapping into Future Sight. As well as that, it can just easily eat up any kind of burns or strength steps that the Corsola want to throw its way. Ooh, if this burns, that's nasty. Unfortunately, no burn, but honestly, 44% and breaking a balloon is fantastic value off of Slowking. Now, this is a gamble for Diana here. If it's a physical Aegislash, it's really bad for Slowking to obviously eat this. If it's special, it could probably take one, and Scald might end up guaranteeing the KO. I think Swampert was the safe swap, as it does turn out to be physical. Now, I don't know if Shadow Claw Okos, and this is a speed tie, unless perhaps there's some speed investment in the Swampert. Obviously with the Balloon gone, which is fantastic from the Scald, and the Future Sight, it makes this thing very susceptible to Earthquake. Scald? That is a really interesting set. Fishing for the burn here, which unfortunately for Diana does not work out fantastically. Oof. That's a big blow. And unfortunately, we can't spin away the rocks here. If it is Spin Cloister, though I imagine it's probably Defog Pelipper. Interesting to stay in Shadow Sneak the Urshifu, but honestly, it's a massive threat to the team. So I think getting a massive 52% was definitely high value here from Plat. Because Cursula always comes in, or Corsola always comes into this. It can Strength Sap, it can burn. Urshifu can't stay in at all because obviously it risks getting burned or Strength Saps. If Slowking comes in, it risks getting Nightshaded, which isn't the worst. It can regen it back, but eventually I think Plat currently holds a better positioning right now. Especially because this team struggles a lot with Corsola. Pelipper is probably the best play. It is technically on a timer, though if this is knockoff Pelipper, which I've seen before, it really, really, really hurts. Yeah, unfortunately this is doing basically no damage. They can't hard swap into, or even U-turn into things like Barrascuda or Cloister at the risk of getting burnt or Strength Sapped. I don't know if there's going to be a massive counter to play to this, besides maybe burn it and slowly whittle it down with Pelipper. U-turn here is very risky, because they do risk getting Nightshade damage into Slowking. Now this does seem to be a pretty bulky HP Slowking. 400 HP we can see by the calc, which is pretty good. Again, unfortunately, this, I believe, is going to be Specs Gengar, and it kind of goes crazy here with Thunderbolt. Because even if they try to revenge kill with Barrascuda, I think Plat always just goes into Corsola to eat anything that takes its way, or even potentially Dragapult. Now, I know for sure Plat has spent a lot of work perfecting this specific team. Pelipper's kind of crazy here, I think. It's going to die to a Specs Shadow Ball if this is Specs. And if it's not, it just clicks Thunderbolt. Interesting. They suck the Chandelure, which makes sense. I mean, short of Energy Ball, which I don't think is necessarily that important, because right now Thunderbolt goes kind of crazy. Honestly, I'm pretty sure Thunderbolt KO'd. I mean, Shadow Ball KO'd Pelipper anyway. Now, Surging Strikes is looking kind of nasty in the rain. If it's banded, it should kill Corsola, but if it's not Scarfed, it is slower than Gengar. Actually, this could be Scarf. The way she didn't stay in to click Shadow Ball against the Pelipper makes me think it's Scarfed. And if it is, I feel like it's just over. I mean, Flip Turn is 100% free here. Does Flip Turn into Surging Strikes kill Corsola? I'm not sure. It definitely kills this Dragapult. I mean, this thing is insane until, of course, it got curse-bodied. That really, really, really sucks. Unfortunate moment there. Oh, it's not banded? Okay. I mean, that could actually make a big difference. Unfortunately, I think Corsola comes in here and just clicks Strength Sap for free. Unless they go into Pelipper, and if it's Roost Pelipper, this actually might turn out quite well. Diana potentially playing this extremely well, and Nightshade's probably coming out here. But even so, I just don't think Urshifu is strong enough. Yeah. I think the play here was to keep in Pelipper. If it was Roost, I think it always lives against this, but it doesn't seem to be Roost. Otherwise, I think they would have clicked it by now. Or even Fish for Skullburns. I definitely think there was some unfortunate plays, unfortunate RNG for Milkshake here. But at the same time, it can't be denied that Plat obviously played very well. And the RNG was going to be very hard to break in the first place. Now, it is a best of 3. So, of course, there is hope yet. But I mean, you need like a super mega ultra crit on the Curse Lad to kill this, unfortunately. Unfortunately, Shadow Sneak does take care of it. Yeah, Funny Fish was not funny enough, but it's not over. Next up, so how this tournament is going to work is we're doing a best of 3 with a Generation 8 Monotype, a Natdex Monotype, and then you can agree to do one of them again, or failing to agree, we will do a random Monotype for the 3rd round. So, very strong showing from both players. I think Diana did fantastic to bring this back, or Milkshake did fantastic to bring this one all the way back. The white on white text is cringe. Yeah, let me change that. I'll change the text color. I kind of just took it directly over from my other streams. So hopefully it looks better there. I'm just gonna pop a test message. Perfect. So if you guys can send me the new one as well. So I'm curious to see what Plat's gonna rock up here in the Nat decks. Okay, the black text seems to be a little better. It's still maybe a little hard to read, but it's slightly better. Put it more left. Gotcha. Okay, I moved it like fully left. And maybe I'll be able to increase the font size too, or the font, yeah, size. Okay. So we have the next one. Unfortunately for Diana, for Milkshake, Plat's rocking up with her fairy team. Against Dark, this is going to be very hard. No, I think they'll have to play their Bishop very well. I say Bishop because I play a lot of chess, that's really coming out there. It's not an impossible matchup. As well as that, Greninja can be super good with Gunk Shot. Grimmsnarl is honestly kinda crazy good. I feel like Tyranitar can kinda come in for free here. Or even Bisharp. Sacking Grimmsnarl, I don't know if it was the play I would have made. I think it's too important for the late game. But they're a better Dark player than me, so I trust they know what they're doing here. I think Bisharp is potentially fantastic if they drop with Moonblast or Mystical Fire. It just activates Defiant. I'm just wondering what's their play now versus Azumarill. It kind of has to be Zarude. We'll have to see what they come up with this here. Losing their hyper offense tool screens so early, it's going to be rough, especially because Plat is running a Comfey, which is going to be insane. So, I mean, I feel like Ironhead is pretty free here. Even if they go into Coco, there's pretty much nothing on their team that wants to take this. That did so much damage. Now, unfortunately, there's a bit of a 50-50 here. If Diana wants to swap out expecting the Aquajet, Plat can easily get a Z-Belladrum off here. And that could be game. But, ooh, the swap. Losing HP on Bisharp it's also nasty. The bunny will be a problem for Milkshake. Yeah, definitely agree, Cake. Ooh, spikes are nasty. It really limits Tyranitar swap-ins, especially when screens are now becoming limited. Though that said, a +2 Life Orb Sucker Punch is going to hurt. It's going to hit like a truck regardless of the resist. And while screens is up, I don't think Plat can even KO this in one go. Maybe Aquajet, but Azumarill's at the percentage now where it does die to a Sucker Punch easy. Could you turn up your voice slightly? Yes, I can do that. Ever so slightly, I can do that. Okay, hopefully that's a bit better. I turned up slightly. Now this Volt Switches, I'm pretty sure. And if I was Plat, I'd probably just sack something. Maybe Togekiss. But Volt Switch isn't going to KO, nor does a T-Bolt. Is it better now? I'm turning it up a small bit, but I can turn it up more if needs to be. Ooh, that Wild Charge crit hurts. I'm kind of curious. Is that crit unfortunate, or... I'm going to pull up a Bisharp. Versus Tapu Koko. Offensive. We're going to assume it's 252. Just whatever nature, as long as it's not down in electric terrain. Wild Charge does 64 to 76. Does that matter? 71. It's arguable that it doesn't matter. I mean, the crit's definitely unfortunate. This thing is insanely powerful. I also like the name Orla, which is an Irish name. For those of you who are watching. No one expects the Coco Inquisition. True that. Physical Coco is one thing I honestly wasn't expecting. But honestly, Gunk Shot Greninja might still win. If it's Choice Scarf Gunk Shot, and it doesn't decide to miss 8 times in a row. Ooh. This Dragon Dance could be nasty. Because there's no way Comfey kills. I don't even think Azumarill kills here, to be honest. Yeah, now just don't miss, please. With Milkshake's unfortunate luck, it's not impossible. I don't think Aquajet kills here. I think Mega T-Tar is... Well, that did 0%. And as long as Sandstorm is up, I don't think Comfey's Draining Kiss kills either. Now, unfortunately, it's very possible that she might just stall out Sandstorm by sacking Coco and Diancie, and then go into Draining Kiss sweep. But even then, I'm not 100% sure does Draining Kiss kill Mega T-Tar. I mean, this thing is insanely bulky. There's no way Giga Drain or Draining Kiss kills here, and Stone Edge absolutely kills. Of course, assuming it connects. If this T-Tar was absolutely insane and runs like Heavy Slam, I think we see a victory here for Milkshake. Stacked against all odds. Now, I'm not trying to have any form of bias in this tournament, but I kind of want to see this Mega T-Tar win. That Draining Kiss did 0. Okay, I think this could potentially be a win. If this is fast enough to outspeed Tapu Koko. But even then, if it's Choice Scarf either of these, I think they just win too. Anya is another Irish name. It's cool to see these pop up. I think as long as we have priority, Water Shuriken, no, it's just outspeeds. GG, that was an insane comeback. T-Tar is overrated. Look, sorry, Mega T-Tar is just... Okay, sorry guys, I apologize. After seeing this absolutely insane comeback... Okay, like, this comeback was absolutely insane, not expected at all, so... I believe they've already agreed upon a third round. We're just waiting for the invitation. Really unexpected turnaround there. I thought once that Tapu Koko crit the Bisharp, I thought it might be over for Milkshake, but they are turning this one around insanely well. Now for the hilarious randomness that is randoms. If you can send it my way whenever you get the chance. Here we go. Okay, so plat side we have mono normal for sure. It's either ground or rock for Milkshake. Rock is probably slightly better, and I'm not saying that with any hint of bias here whatsoever. But purely for the fact that rock does resist normal stab. We allow Dynamax? I'm assuming so. Yeah, it's... I mean, it's played on ladder that way, so I've always played it that way. Dynamax is legal? Awesome. Now, unfortunately, this is down on Porygon Z, and Ice Beam's gonna hit like a truck, especially if it's mono ground. It's gonna suck. If it's mono rock, there's definitely some things it can take in. We'll have to see. I think a big thing with monotypes, especially in tournament, or monotype randoms, especially in tournament, is not revealing what you have. Yeah, it doesn't get murked. Exactly. That is the question on my mind too. Milkshake. What here doesn't get absolutely obliterated? At least it's not adaptability. But if I was to guess... Okay, it's ground. Oh, it's nasty plot. That's going to be disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. And it's Ice Beam Life Orb, I'm assuming? Yeah, okay. Unless Milkshake can outspeed this, unfortunately, it is game. And it seems to be Shed Skin too. It didn't even activate Sand, which could have been nice, I suppose, for maybe Sandrush Excadrill. Chomp does outspeed. Does Chomp Oko? I don't think so. It's 6 levels lower too. Like, there's no way Earthquake kills. Maybe Outrage? I know Pori Z isn't exactly bulky. That said, it might put it in range after Life Orb Chip. It might be the best that Milkshake can ask for here. Oh, that did like 0. That really did not much at all. I mean, I expected it to do more, close to like 70 or 80, which would at least had one less sack. Does Flygon outspeed? Yes, it does. Flygon's surprisingly fast, actually. Now, unfortunately, especially if they lock themselves into something like Earthquake here, or Outrage, it's potential that Plat has a... Beware? Okay, they are Life Orb. I think normal definitely has the advantage here. Flygon outspeeds by 1 point. And this thing is super frail. If it has U-turn, it actually might get KO'd. And I don't know if Choice Scarf expanding force kills Flygon. What's Flygon's SPDF like? 80? Oh, I was wrong. It's Lorb. I feel like if it was Choice Scarf, it probably wouldn't kill. Discount Chomp. So true. I mean, Ripe lives. I think Ripe lives. It looks cooler? No way. No way. Garchomp looks way cooler. Okay, getting the max sand up here is a good idea. Unfortunately, having to nut your max early might not be the best shout. I wonder, should we have maxed, or should Milkshake have maxed our Garchomp earlier in the game? Hey, for any Pokemon Unite players out there, we've all been there, losing to a Jiggly. Ooh, this is becoming a hella bulky Rhyperior, though. I mean, in Sand, with +2 SPDF, it's not going to be super easy to take down. Especially if it has Rock Polish. I think with Rock Polish, we could actually see a really good comeback. Just as I said. Now, unfortunately, obviously, screens are very bad. Because this is going to do, like, tickle damage to most things. Ooh, yeah, Diggersby's going to KO for sure. I mean, that did so little. Plat's team is just a hella Life Orb all over the place. Especially behind screens, it's pretty solid. Does need it outspeed? It does by a few points. Does it KO? I don't know. Not if Plat Dynamax is here. If Plat Dyna's here, I think the game is over. Perhaps Dyna on the Porygon Z earlier would have been the play. What? Screen's busted. That's all I gotta say. Wait, hold the phone. We got a Stunfisk here, guys. Unfortunate. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad matchup. However, I think Porygon Z with Nasty Plot was pretty much unkillable for this team. GG's both, though, I gotta say. Milkshake, thank you so much for playing. It's been a pleasure, obviously, having you here. So next up, can I... Am I logged into this? Why can't I... Oh, I just start the tournament. So, unfortunately, that is 2-1-2 Plat, unfortunately, for Milkshake. So next up, we have Med versus Cake. That's all you get from Stunfisk, Alex. If RLG was here to see this... I'm nervous in my rounds, to be honest. Don't be nervous, Med. I'll do fine. So unfortunately, well, no, yeah, unfortunately for Milkshake, they're out of the tournament. Plat does advance to round 2. And she'll be playing the winner between Med and Cake, who will then go into the finals. I think Plat is definitely a front runner for the winner of this tour. But you never know, upsets could happen. The bottom half of the bracket's looking pretty stacked here. Old Man Root Beer and Davo, two extremely strong players. Having to go off in round 1 is almost unfortunate because I think these are another two strong contenders we could have seen in the grand finals had they been on opposite sides of the bracket. But with that said, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So, whenever the other two get a chance, please. Oh, is it here? Perfect. So we have here Cake versus Med. Poison versus Fairy. Instantly, this is going to be a rough matchup for... You literally put a Poison versus Fairy, man. What did Cake ever do to you? I'm sorry. You can blame Challenge for that. I'm liking Medic's team. It has the triple regen core, which is going to be insanely hard for Cake to break. That said, Hatterene goes crazy in this game once Nidoking is out of the picture, and potentially Nihilego too. Okay. I'm trying to think. Spikes are nasty against Medic. It really halts their regen core. But that said, they definitely have defog on Weezing. This could go either way. Literal dog shit. I mean, it kind of does, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you, Shackle, it kind of does. Okay. Opening up Slowking Galar. Interesting. I'm assuming Cake wants to get her spikes or screens up early. It's going to force out Weezing to defog. And I guess on the defog, potentially, Cake can get some good work done. That does not look like Spadef Slowking to me. 44% is crazy strong. I feel like Cake tunnel visioning here on the spikes might not be the best play. Losing her only poison immunity is probably going to come back and bite her when Nihilego decides to go crazy and just click Sludge Wave all over the entire team. So I'm not sure if that would have been the play I would have gone for, especially when Medic has an obvious defogger in Weezing still in play. Now Clefable, I suppose, if it gets off some Calm Minds, could potentially just end the game. Okay, that did 0. This Slowking is going crazy. Especially running no dark types on Medic's team it's kind of risky for a poison team to not do that. I know Slowking can absorb some psychic damage, but having none at all is, yeah, maybe not the play I would have gone for. But still, it's working out respectably so far. Sometimes you give information to the enemies or like hints while you don't even realize. Yeah, Tommy, you know what? Fair enough. That is true. Maybe I shouldn't be commenting too much on their plays. You have a good point, Tommy. I can try refrain from doing that. I'll just comment on what they're actually doing. I'm not sure what Cake's endgame here is to try and stall out the Sludge Bombs, but the Sludge Bombs are doing over 50, so... Who's the next battle? The next battle is Shackled and Robbie. We are muting your stream while playing? Fair enough. I mean, I would like to think the players are doing that, but it's a good point. Like, I don't want to give away too much information. and help one side. The Slowking going kind of crazy right now. It is definitely a hard matchup for Fairy. Not unwinnable. In that case, the commentary is still really nice like that. It's a hard line to tread because I don't want to give away information to one player. And there is a delay in my stream. I can see that on my end from watching these games live. Ooh, Trick Room. Trick Room Destiny Bond is interesting. I think Trick Room should have probably been played earlier. In my opinion. And Medic's playing very strongly around this. This is actually a super cool Mimikyu. I think had this come out earlier. Oh, interesting. Because Future Sight doesn't work that way. I actually wasn't sure how Future Sight would have interacted with Destiny Bonds. I think had Cake saved her Klefki earlier in the game and used Mimikyu earlier, I think this could have turned out to be a very different game. Because if this thing gets off Cam Mines, it's actually going to be very hard for Med to take this back. Ooh, it's Life Orb, okay. If it's Life Orb, I'm not too sure it has the staying power, because Psyshock obviously goes crazy here. What if Cake clutches? It's not impossible. I mean, I think Psyshock was needed here to kill Slowking, because if Svest Slowking is just crazy defensive. I think Cake did a good job to take this back. But it's going to look very difficult here. Because if she's not Choice Scarf, she loses to Nidoking. And she needs Plot to break. Okay. I mean, I think Nidoking just 100% wins here. I'm not really sure why Pax came in. It potentially lets Cake, like, roost up and start plotting. If it was some, like, crazy agility, nasty plot roost Togekiss. These flinches are crazy. Unfortunately, I think Cake just played her Pokemon in the wrong order. I think it was winnable. GG nonetheless. So next up we have the Napdex game, and before we start that, I'm going to run and grab a glass of water. If Medic or Cake, if you could please invite me to the next game too. I think the keys is unfortunate too. Losing keys early does just open it up to a Nihilego sweep. I mean, Nidoking was going to be very dangerous either way for her team. Next up, we have our Napdex game. I'm not sure what either player is going to bring. Perhaps Fairy again from Cake, but perhaps not. I know Medic plays a few types. A lot of defensive ones. I also have to say, I respect everyone in this tournament so much for not bringing Steel yet. Okay, here we go. Normal is going to be a cool type to see. I think Mono Normal in Napdex is crazy good. Now, if this is Mega Gardevoir, it's pretty strong. And actually, Medic's team really, really, really hates spikes. So this is a time that I think Cake wants to have Spikes Klefki. With absolutely no defoggers on Medic's team. Probably Heavy Duty Boots Blissey, but 25% coming on Porygon 2, Ditto, Lopunny. It's just awful for their team. This matchup could go either way, especially if it's unaware Clef as well. Because Beware is not going to do too much. And with no defoggers, it could be kind of scary. Dodrio is based in Napdex. I respect it. I've actually never used Dodrio myself, but I respect any person brave enough to use one. What do I think of Mono Fire? Crazy good. Especially in... Maybe not hugely good in Generation 8, just because water's so good, but in Napdex, crazy good. And I have high hopes for it in Generation 9. And I think it was crazy good Generation 7 too. I think anything that can become powerful due to sun or its own weather is very good. Ooh. So we have a Rocky Helmet Clefable. That's really going to be nasty, because that just basically says, Lopunny, excuse me, absolutely no U-turn-in, absolutely no triple axling, unless you want to take a lot of damage. Fire is good in Napdex. Fire is absolutely good in Napdex. I don't know what you guys are talking about. In Gen 8, not so much. But in Napdex, it's crazy good. Zard Y. Or Zard X. You guys calling Alex a liar in his own vid. If we're talking Gen 8 here, no, Fire's not very good. If we're talking Napdex, yes, I think it's quite good. Yeah. Okay. Toxic on the Blissey there is a good play. What do you think of Mono Dragon? I've got a pretty good team. Still loses to most Ice and Fairy though. That's pretty much sums up, I think, Mono Dragon in a nutshell. I think it's a really solid type, but it pretty much loses instantly to Fairy or Dragon. Fairy or Ice, sorry. There's some Dragon matchups you can play that beats Ice, but it's tough. But I think outside of Ice, which is a fairly niche, kind of low mid-tier pick, if you don't run into Fairy, it can pretty much kill most teams. So yeah, it's a pretty solid type. I think it's hard for Dragon to be anywhere outside of like the top half of the types. Some people rank it top 5. Personally, I don't think it's that good. But it's certainly solid. It's better than Dodrio. I love the Dodrio love, I gotta say. I respect anyone who's dedicated to a weird niche pick like that. I mean, I love Tropius. Tropius is a weird favorite Pokemon of mine. I just really respect it. It's such a loser. It's like a big brontosaurus with bananas. What's not to love? So I'm not sure what Platt's play here is. I mean, this definitely lives pretty much anything Diggersby throws its way. But I think Return's going to do crazy amount of damage. Actually, I wonder, is this Cotton Guard? Does this still get Cotton Guard? I think that was a thing back in like Gen 5 or 6. Unfortunately, the Klefkis weren't swapped around. I think Screen's Klefki would have been very good in the previous game. And I think Spice Klefki would be insanely good in this game. It's... Also, just subbed. I've been some of your Monotype stuff come up in my feed and searches. Hey, thank you so much, Devils Advocate. I really appreciate that. Means a lot. I'm on the road to 1k. Hopefully we get there. But I really appreciate any help you can drop my way. Means a lot. Appreciate it. Tailwind. Okay, interesting. The fact it did nothing means this is hella Z Crystal. Ooh, locking into it with Encore. Fantastic play by Cake here. This pretty much means that has to swap out. Okay. Med chooses to stay in. Oh my god, that is insane. I completely forgot that's how that interaction worked. That is... that's such BS. I mean, I'm glad to agree with Old Man Rupee here. That is a crazy good play on Medic's part, but... But shit, you know... Z Crystals are busted. The fact you can just break out of Encore like that, that was such a good play on Cake's part. I mean, I think if there's going to be an upset of the tournament, this is it. I mean, I guess unaware Clef, if it's unaware. Or is it... I mean, Quick Attack kills Gardevoir. Easy. This thing is huge power plus 6. I gotta love the chat. As soon as that happens, just the absolute pop off in chat. Unfortunately, I think this might be game. Not much I can do. No, unless this was unaware Clef, which it most certainly isn't. It's Magic Guard, as we knew from it taking no Stealth Rock chip. I mean, maybe some crazy Tapu Fini sweep, but basically impossible. 1,688 attack is disgusting. That is a disgusting amount of attack. Sorry to keep messaging. How do we join the next one of these? I wanted to do tournament for a while. No worries, Devils. Do not apologize about messaging. I'm more than happy to chat with viewers. We do these over on my Discord, which I will post right now in the chat. If you give me 2 seconds. If you want to join the Discord here, we occasionally play tournaments. GG's. Congratulations to Medic for advancing to the next round. And commiserations to Cake, but well done for playing. So Robbie Unshackled is next. Now, Robbie, by his own admission, is not a Generation 8 player. So this is going to be interesting to see what he pulls up here. This is the one I've been looking forward to seeing. And of course, if you guys can link me, whenever it is you're up. But GG's to both Med and Cake. You both played well. I think the clef keys are swapped around. If you had Spike's clef keys in the second game, I really think things could have turned out differently for that second matchup. So that has Med and Plat are going to be in the semi-finals against each other. This should be interesting. I love seeing Med's NatDex teams. So we're just going to wait here for... oh, we got the invite. Perfect. Ooh. So we have Alec versus Poison. I do think this is a hard matchup for Alec. Can you start? Yeah. Once Neoquin goes, obviously Alec goes crazy. But then again, Raichu is crazy good here too, but Skunk Tank needs to go. I think if Robbie Man can just dispatch one of the big threats, it can be a clean sweep. Oh. We got a sub. Sorry, that was a very delayed notification, but again, thanks so much Devil's Advocate for subbing. It just came up there on my stream, so really appreciate it. And of course, if you have any friends who would like to join or like to sub, please send this link their way. We're on the way to 1K. Thoughts on Nat Mono Flying? I think Flying is absolutely top tier. No questions asked. I think Generation 8 was completely dominated by Flying in the late meta. I think it's just such a fantastically versatile type that there's really not much it can't do. And its balance is absolutely insane. So sometime, maybe later in Generation 9 when things kind of quieten down, I want to do a video on why balance is so good in monotypes and why it's honestly probably the best playstyle, at least this generation. That might change next generation. We'll have to see. But I think by definition of how Monotype works, balance is just such a strong team to play. And Flying can do that so well. Ooh. This Slowking might be pretty good, actually. Right here. Now, I do love to see a Mono Poison player. Poison and Alec are two of my top 5 favorite types. So, it's hard to really cheer for either one because I would like to see both of them do well. But all I can say is this Slow Bro is hella bulky. Like, taking up Zapdos like it's nothing is insane. Of course, we do have to worry about potentially rising voltage. Or Size Shock. I do like me some Bro Poison, not gonna lie. I agree. Bro Poison's solid. Ooh. Great play from Robbie there. Getting rid of such a massive threat. That could potentially seal the deal. Because now, rising voltage, Regieleki just goes absolutely bonkers. Unfortunate play there from Robbie. Add me to the game? Oh, sure. Let me just send it your way. That is a really unfortunate play. I hate going against Poison and Natdex. Poison and Natdex is really solid. I think Poison is just a really solid type. Venusaur and Peck's annoying as fuck, yeah, for real. I mean, Shackle definitely still has to worry a lot about Regieleki. But getting rid of Raichu is crazy good. Honestly, this Zeraora might be able to do some... Whoa, that is good tech. I love to see a Burning Jealousy. This is why I love tours. You see such crazy stuff like this in tours. Like, not many people would run Burning Jealousy in ladder. But this burn pretty much entirely got rid of Zeraora from the game. That said, I don't know. Does Slowbro just die to Regieleki? I'm not sure. This is the first time Burning Jealousy was used. I mean, if you look back, I did use Burning Jealousy on my old videos. Burning Slowbro is good, because I think that's all... I think all that needs to happen is this thing gets chipped in range of Rising Voltage. But of course, Rotom missing absolutely everything. Now, granted, this is why we do best of 3. I think best of 1 is not at all acceptable in most Pokemon tournaments, because you can just miss like crazy, like is happening right now. That said, this Rotom's very bulky. And I don't think it's within Shackle's best interest to let it take too much damage. You're not as cool as Burning Jealousy Skunk, just don't. I mean, if you want me to pull up my video where I use Burning Jealousy Skunk, I will find it, because I've been using Burning Jealousy Skunk since Isle of Armor dropped. I mean, Burning Jealousy Skunk was definitely the coolest play we've seen today, because that Zeraora was crazy threatening. Ooh. Is this where it begins? Is this where Regieleki just decides to win the game? Going hard into it is interesting. Unfortunately, it doesn't KO. Which means it takes a chunk of damage. But I really don't know. Yeah, because Sucker Punch is just crazy good here. And with Rotom Toxic, huge, absolutely massive plays there. Reading the swap. Shackled going absolutely crazy this game. This Skunk potentially deserving of MVP for the tour right now, because it just put in an insane amount of work. You love to see it. Even after throwing away Nidoking early, which I thought potentially sealed the deal, Skunk just came out and went crazy. So unfortunately that's going to be GG, I think, for Robbie. There's pretty much nothing he can do. He can't prolong his inevitability, his inevitable death. GG. So we're moving on to round 2. Now, unfortunately for Shackled, round 2, which is going to be Natdex Monos, is absolutely where Robbie is going to shine. Robbie's a crazy good Gen 7 and by extension Natdex player. He only started playing Generation 8 Monotype yesterday, and for that we got to give him a hats off because he did quite well. But Natdex is where he truly shines, so this is going to be a tough one for Shackle to pull through, I think. Just gotta wait for the invite to come through. So far, this has been it's an interesting tournament. We see some great tournament play, which I think is why I really like tournament play over ladder sometimes. You just don't see wacky teams like you do in tournament on ladder. And I think they're two completely separate but legitimate playstyles. Like, I think ladder is more about trying to find consistent teams that are good against the meta, while I think tournaments, it rewards crazy play. Ooh, this is nasty. Now, I hella respect someone for rocking up with a Mono Rock team, but against Gen 8 Natdex Steel, there's pretty much nothing that can happen here. So this could be a win in the bag for Robbie. Caesar is just absolutely insane in this matchup. As is Excadrill. Now Macargo can put in work, as well as Omastar. Kind of stack attacker too, especially if it's like body press, iron defense. It's actually really good. Can we start? Yeah. But I think Macargo needs to get good flame body luck, especially against things like Caesar, to realistically win this game. And while Heatran exists, Child Gobbler is such a good name as well, by the way. Every time I see it, it makes me laugh. It's such a good name. Concern, no. That's just Venus Aerodactyl. He gobbles children for a living. It's such a good name. Whoa, okay. Losing Heatran turn 1 is kind of big. Ooh, it is a Todd demise Celesteela as well. Down with Robbie? No, I'm pro Robbie. No, actually, no. Yeah, down with Robbie, sorry. Anyone who uses steel, sorry, Robbie. Yep. Unfortunately, I didn't want to say anything, but I knew Heat Crash is absolutely ass against Celesteela because it's so heavy. Now, it's not necessarily over. Macargo can actually put in a crazy amount of work here. Especially with Heatran gone. But Jirachi is one to look out for. It could be Choice Scarf. It could be Z-Celebrate. We're not entirely sure exactly what it is. Stack Attacker. I even didn't think of Robbie's Stack Attack as actually very strong here. Spider-Man name. I think here it's a 50-50. I think Aerodactyl would be the play I'd have gone for 2. But unfortunately, obviously Gyro Ball puts it in a crazy bad position. Yo, I'm a Tyranitar. Let's go. You love to see it. In before loads of Tyranitar is overrated memes go flying my way. I think the turn losing... What? That didn't kill? That is insane. I conveniently forgot, so I'm sorry, Plas. I thought I read out your name. She'll never live this down. That vacation we spent together in Edinburgh. And I forgot about you. Do we know this is Earthquake Stack Attacker? I mean, we do now. And unfortunately, I think that's just going to be game. Stack Attacker this buffed up, it just kind of goes crazy. Not even the almighty Shuckaberry Amistar was enough to take care of this. So unfortunately that was a pretty convincing sweep for Robbie. Even if hypothetically he lost Stack Attacker, he still had Caesar and Executed on the back, so there realistically was not much that Shackled could have done here. I think the pivotal play, the pivotal turn, was Robbie Gyro Balling into Aerodactyl. That was massive. I think that kind of sealed the deal. And the fact it lived Earthquake 2 is kind of crazy. So that brings us to the tiebreaker. I'm not sure what they've agreed upon. Potentially it's Natdex again, or maybe they're crazy enough to go for randoms. We'll find out very soon. When they invite me. How's the tour coming along? So we're almost done round 1, so it almost means we're in the semi-finals. Now the nice thing about a small tournament is it goes pretty fast. I know we're still in the first round, but this is technically the quarterfinals too. I'm not sure who I'm going to see in the finals. I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't want to like be biased or diss anyone, but I'm predicting a Plat versus Old Man Root Beer finals. That's my bets at the moment. But let's wait and find out. Anything could happen. We've already seen some crazy upsets this tournament. And I do think everyone is fairly equally skilled. So as well, everyone, I hope you are really looking forward to Generation 9 as much as I am, because I intend to be doing a ton of Generation 9 content. I know it's been ages since I've uploaded. I've started a new job, and been super busy in real life, and also I feel like Generation 8 was kind of done for me. I think I was just kind of done with Generation 8. I was iffy about playing this tour, so glad I did. I'm glad you did too, Milkshake. It's been super fun having you. Unfortunately, you went out in round 1, but not without a damn good fight. So I'm just awaiting their final play. Oh, here we are. It's Natdex. Natdex Water versus Natdex Flying. Two, I think, unarguably top tier types. Yeah, let me send. Will I be going to bed early? Let's find out, Shackles. This matchup could go really either way. I think Kingdra is absolutely bonkers good. But I think Charizard is honestly weirdly bonkers good. It has Sun, assuming it's Charizard Y. Dragonite's very good here. Corvi can wall a bit too. This matchup really could go either way. I can't remember. I don't think Ash Greninja is allowed in this format because that thing's broken. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. This matchup can go either way. I think Shackled has to play his Mons well. But I think if he does, it can potentially be a winning matchup. Well, I think Robbie has the advantage solely based on he can just click things and win. No, you can't. It... I feel like Pelipper always just U-turns here, like for free. I don't think there's any reason for Pelipper not to U-turn here and just get the advantage. Yeah, absolutely. There was no reason for Robbie to ever not U-turn there, in my opinion. Now, what he goes into, anyone's guess. I do think Corviknight pretty much was most things on the team. But I do think Corviknight also needs to stay healthy. Greninja? Not what I expected to come out. A Hidden Power Electric. Okay, that's pretty sick. Unfortunately, it doesn't do too much damage. But it also runs the risk. If it goes into Lando, Honchkrow comes out. Okay. I think Honchkrow is like an insanely good Pokemon because it's just such good mind games. You can Sucker Punch, you can Pursuit, you can hit crazy hard with other moves. So I think if the player using Honchkrow can play well, like Shackle did here, it can start a crazy powerful sweep. Like, I honestly think this position is actually quite bad for Robbie. A +1 Lorb Honchkrow in the field while Pursuit and Sucker Punch exists, it's scary. Now, obviously, Urshifu can pretty much always come in here. Is it Ice Punch, I wonder? Or does this go straight for Surging Strikes? There realistically isn't much swap into Surging Strikes, especially in the rain. Now, if it's Bulk Up, that's kind of like an insane bait. Bulk Up could be very strong, especially if it's Bulk Up Ice Punch. Because I think after 1+1 defense, it probably lives Scarf Klapdos. Dragonite does go Burr here. Oh, interesting. Z Bulk Up, that is hella scary. That is an insane play. The question is it... It is slower than Charizard, though. It definitely runs Aqua Jet. Does it run Ice Punch is the question. I mean, I really didn't expect a Z bulk up here either. That's a cool play. Again, here Robbie is showing that he's a fantastic Naptex player. I'm not even sure that Zapdos KOs. I mean, obviously if it's bounded, it absolutely melts Robbie's entire team. But that Scarf, does it kill? No, it didn't. As expected. This thing is like surprisingly strong. Dragon D's nuts, oh my god, what a name. I can understand, I think I can see where Shackle's coming from playing this game. Just rewatch, there's a few ways I could have done better. Absolutely, Cake, and honestly that's such an important thing when you're learning to become better at the game. Is just watch your old games and see like, how could I have improved on that? So Pelipper breaking focus or multi-scale here is actually super good. I really can't call this matchup. It can go either way. Especially now with Shifu gone. And the more Robbie damages his own Pokemon, I think Honchkrow is going to get stronger and stronger. Interesting to flip turn here. Because all this lets Shackle do is get the advantage swap. Especially if it Mega Evolves. That's a potentially big threat taken care of. And we know this is Fast Pelipper. In fact, we can possibly deduce this could be Scarf Pelipper. And if it is, Honchkrow goes kind of crazy. As I said, Cake, it's good to look back and improve your game. Ooh, okay. I'm not so sure I would have sacked Crow here. I can understand where Shackle is coming from. I totally do. I just fear like, does Skuta kill Charizard? Maybe not in the sun, actually. Because the sun is going to slow down Kingdra and Skuta. That actually might have been a very good play. I think my endgame would have been relied on Sucker Punch sweeps. But potentially assuming Skuta doesn't kill, and in the sun I don't think it does. And assuming this isn't something crazy like Dragon Dance Kingdra. Okay, it's Lorb. Ooh, actually this might come down to a 50-50 from Robbie. Because I don't know if Charizard can Oko Kingdra. Oh, very unfortunate Hurricane miss here. That could have sealed the deal. I do understand in Sun, obviously the accuracy is way worse. But I think a -2 Life Orb Draco into Liquidation probably, yeah, I think anything but Hurricane was the play. Unfortunate. Both players played that extremely well. GG's, both. That was a very good play. I think Hurricane was a misplay, though. I understood completely where Robbie was coming from. He was right to do that. All you needed to do was chip the Charizard very slightly, and then Liquidation would have finished him off. It's just unfortunate that Hurricane's accuracy is reduced in the sun. Either way, fantastic games. Let's chalk that up to 2-1 to Shackled. And next up we have Old Man Rootbeer and Davo. So two extremely strong players. I'm really not sure how this is going to go at all. Both of them have very strong teams. So we just gotta wait for Davo to hit us up with the next games. So we're gonna see Shackle in the semifinals, fighting the winner between Old Man Rootbeer and Davo. Interesting. Is this the game? Perfect. Lovely. We have Flying Dittos. Teacher versus student. So for those who don't know, Old Man Rootbeer is a long time flying player. Extremely powerful player. But will today Davo usurp his master? Let's see. I hope Flying loses. I'm a huge fan of Toxic on Torn. I use it a lot in tours. Now it is funny we see almost identical teams, with Davo opting for Torn and Old Man Rootbeer opting for Mountain. I do wonder how they're going to play around each other's Thunderai. What's the plural of Thunderous? Someone let me know in the comments. I just hope this isn't one of those like 700 turn games, because I'm not here for that. Interesting. I'm not sure what Davo's rationale here was into going into Torn on the Steela. Is it knockoff, perhaps? Steela generation, right? I, for one, can't wait for no more Steela. I have no idea if it's backer Gen 9 or not, but I truly hope it's not. Thunderous as hell. So true. Now that is unfortunate for Davo here. Swapping hard into Thunderous always did run the risk of getting burnt. Now, of course, against the opposing Thunderous, and can potentially Volt Absorb later in the game. And getting rid of Klapdos is pretty nice, because I don't think Rootbeer actually has fantastic answers to Klapdos, especially when it's his physical type, because presumably Lando, which does not really appreciate being blasted by a Defiant boosted Zapdos. And so the endless cycle continues. Celesteela v Celesteela. I hate this. Guys, please put me out of my misery. Please stop using Celesteela. Steela moment is right. Ooh. So by the looks of it, Old Man Rootbeer is absolutely determined to make sure his Steela is healthy. And unfortunately, Davo's Landorus ended up taking a lot more damage here thanks to Rocky Helm Leech Seed. I think despite being a Mon down, I think Old Man Rootbeer technically has the advantage. This is all you pretty much, yeah. I apologize for anyone who's just tuned in right now into the stream to see Celesteela versus Celesteela, and then the amazing counterplay of Landorus versus Landorus. No, I feel like Old Man Rootbeer always goes into Mantine on Torn. And I feel like despite the fact he's down a sack, he can play a little bit more recklessly because he can wall out more Pokemon than Davo can. So I'm not really sure that Davo has an answer to Mantine. Because as soon as he takes on Thunderous, Old Man can go into his Lando or his own Thunderous. Putting the overused and overused. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like... Ooh, interesting play. No Steela moment. That's sad. I'm gonna have to consider banning Flying versus Flying in the future. You know what? I'm actually glad these two guys met in the first round, because if this was the grand finals, I just have to end stream early like sorry. I'm not here all night watching Celesteela throw seeds at each other for a whole hour. Oof. Okay, I honestly think that is a massive, massive loss for Davo because now he pretty much doesn't have an answer to Mantine. And old man's Thunderous goes kind of crazy here. Steal a moment. You can't see me because I don't have my microphone on right now, but I'm doing like the rock when he's like the eyebrow lift and he looks over. Steal a moment. Someone please make a gif of that. I'd very much appreciate that if you're listening. Oof. This thing is just incredibly hard to break. This team of Old Man Root Beers. Especially because he gets rocks up for kind of free here. No, I'm almost certain it's Heavy Duty Boots Torn. But I guess he can get... Ooh, okay, he doesn't get rocks up here. Interesting play. Now, I know this isn't Hidden Power Ice. I guess potentially it could be Grass Knot, but I don't know if Grass Knot KOs Flash Cannon. Interesting. And no KO too, which is actually almost potentially better. Because now it isn't choice locked. Which is obviously within Old Man's best interest, because I think Thunderbolt pretty much kills everything at this percentage anyway. Of course, we have to worry about extreme speed here. But Lando and Rox is becoming, like, better and better. Stealing moment's coming, guys. Just you wait. That's what everyone's been waiting for. I mean, Seed comes out for free. There's just no question about it. I really don't see a play here when Seed doesn't come out. As long as Davos is burnt, he's basically offset the leftovers healing, and it will be whittled away slowly, especially if rocks come down. Everyone here has a control V. Oh, that's so funny, I'm sorry. God, even that heat wave did nothing. I mean, 42 is good, and obviously if Steela dies, it's fantastic for Davo, but it's just not going to be enough. Ooh, okay. This is interesting. I mean, Fire Punch could potentially come out here, so can Dragon Dance, but I feel like Lando is just a safe play. But realistically, there's only so many times that Lando is a safe play, and if rocks come up here, it's looking way, way worse for things like their Lando, for Davo's Lando, for Celesteela. I think Davo's intention here is to try and get some recovery with Leech Seeds. Okay, Thundy comes in, and this potentially is actually a good opportunity for his team to get back some HP. Now that said, Thunderbolt is looking absolutely free. Because Lando dies upon entry to Stealth Rocks. I guess Extreme Speed comes out, but with a full HP Dragonite, it's pretty much decided as far as I know. Especially when Mantine comes in free every single time. I was really hoping this was like toxic. Tornadus, because that's pretty cool. I love Tox Tornadus in OU tournaments. Going to Dragonite hard there was kind of crazy, because a burn would have meant the absolute end of poor Dragonite. Okay. You hurry up, I gotta work soon. How do you have work so late? You poor unfortunate soul. I mean, I feel like working past midnight's pretty late, yeah. I do pretty long shifts at work, like 12 hours, but thankfully I don't have to do night shift. I usually finish by like 12 at the latest. I'm honestly surprised that this lived. I gotta put this on my copy paste. I think this is as good as over. While Big Yoshi is still healthy. I mean, it's not impossible. I think Mantine has to stay healthy, though, because this instantly swaps into Tornadoes every single time. I think Davo has to play some insanely good plays here. Shackled, if you have to work soon, if you want to play the winner of this game immediately afterwards, we can do Medic versus Plat afterwards. I really don't see an outcome here where Big Yoshi doesn't just win. Of course, unless you flinch like 8 million times in a row. Which is not impossible. Air Slash over Hurricane? Yeah, I mean, Hacks I think is a good reason to do it. Okay. That burn might just seal the deal. Obviously, Dragonite's still kinda scary, but as long as he has Lando, Lando into extreme speed pretty much always wins. The question is, does he go crazy and play off a 90% Toxic? Or does he go into Lando here? I mean, yeah, +1 is not going to be enough to kill. GG. So, on to round 2, we have Natex. Fingers crossed we're not seeing Flan versus Flan again, that's all I can ask for. If you guys care about my sanity at all, please do not play Flan versus Flan. Not again. Just don't do this to me. That's all I can ask. I'm surprised we haven't seen more steel or water yet. I mean, obviously it's early days yet. Just gotta wait for game 2 here. I imagine both players are deciding what team to bring. I think flying is a little less oppressive in nat decks. Both water lost, that's true. I do think water is slightly worse in tour than it is in ladder. I think it's still consistently excellent on ladder, but maybe slightly worse in tour. I wonder is part of that just because water is beatable if you play it slowly, against it slowly and methodically, and actually think. And a lot of people on ladder just are kind of playing to, like, play games fast, basically, or they just make careless mistakes. Okay, here we are. Fire versus steel. Oof. You know what? I agree with Davo. I actually think non flash fire is better. I think flame body is better on fire than flash fire. Now, obviously, Old Man Root Beer has got to save this thing like crazy because if it goes down, it's very bad for him. Surely this is Zard Y, yeah. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to be so. Oh, is it even a Megazard? Yeah, as expected. It had to be Megazard here. No, honestly, rocks are kind of crazy here. I do wonder if it's some kind of weird Mach Punch Infernape. Oh. Oh no. Carver choosing steel? I wouldn't I wouldn't count the blessings just yet. Stacka might just go kind of crazy right now. You know what? I'm disappointed for playing steel, but I'm impressed you chose Z Stakataka. And that's why we're disappointed, old man, because you've been playing steel for so long. It's okay. You're surrounded by friends. We'll get you through this tough time and being a steel man. Yeah, rocks kind of go crazy here. I'm trying to think, is there anything Devo can do? Because if this is Earthquake, stack of moments are glorious. I agree here with Robbie. Should I start writing 2-0 to Old Man here? I mean, maybe Infernape does like some sort of crazy reverse, but I mean, I don't know. Surely not. If it's Z Victini, I guess Z Victini can do work. But even then, can it as long as Heatron's alive? Interesting that he threw that. Because this isn't Scarf. Absolutely, Ape can still go Ape here. Oh, it is Scarf, okay. Or is it Bandit? Now the problem is Victini kind of just wins the game here. Because he sacked Heatran. Now I'm scared. I mean, I don't blame you. Does Celestia live? I mean, I doubt it. Does Stacka live? Yeah, no, it's Ocean Sands. I'm not sure how that could have been played differently. I don't think it could have if it was this specific Victini. Uno Reverso. Okay, that was yeah, that was a game. I gotta say, at least it was quicker than Flying versus Flying, so I respect you guys for that. I guess we're on to the tiebreaker here. The evil has been defeated. You know, major respect. I like it. So what is their tiebreaker? I am not too sure. What is their tiebreaker going to be? I can completely understand how both of them feel right now. It's shaking to be in the final, like just to be in a game 3 of best of 3. It's tough, especially in Monotype. I feel where like your type choice really matters. If you load up a game like just there with Steel versus Fire, it can be pretty scary. So we're just waiting here, and we got it. So Dark versus Ground, Gen 8. Oof. I think this is going to be crazy hard for Oman Rupier because Gold Trace is just absolutely bonkers. Let me send this link onto Milkshake. I feel like Davo definitely has the advantage here. I think Hydreigon, Weavile, and Goldtrace are very powerful here. That did nothing. Whoa, that must be Spadef. Grimmsnarl. Or is it Scarf Nidoking? I'm not too sure. I guess Scarf Nidoking isn't impossible. Great play here. Swapping into Hydreigon. Is it Nasty Plot? Surely it's not Scarf. That's pretty funny, old man. I'm not a huge fan of Scarf Hydreigon. I really like the Wall Breaker Nasty Blot set, personally. Ooh, Toxic on Grim is actually pretty bad. Because this thing, Gastrodon, needs to go on fast. It's actually a major threat to the team, which is the one thing I might say about this particular dark team. It doesn't seem to have any, like, obscenely good wall breaker on us. And Gastrodon is actually going to give Davo a lot of trouble. Ooh, never mind. Toxic there is massive. So if Davo can afford to stall this out a few turns. Interesting plays. Honestly, Triple Axel did a good percentage there, considering it's effectively not very effective thanks to Thick Fast. I'm trying to think where can Davo even go into against Venomous Swine, because obviously if he goes into Tyranitar, it runs the risk of an Earthquake, and everything else is pretty susceptible right now to Ice Sharding. Oh. I didn't really expect a superpower. This is the first game with them without steals. Wait. This is Steela, you're right. And that I'm not okay with. Obviously, Cheetar always comes into this. Even if it's Earth Power, I don't think it's going to do a whole lot of damage. Unfortunately, Cheetar pretty much gets walled out hard by Hippowdon. Unless it's random Ice Beam. I'm so glad we decided not to go for double elimination, because I would have been here all night. I think rocks come down pretty free here. And I don't think, honestly, a triple axle even kills Hippowdon. Oh, wow. That's strong. Is that banded, Weavile? Very possible. I think all Davo needs to do is set up Goltrace, and he wins the game. Unfortunately, as well, T-Tar is actually actively going to start hindering him later in the game, with Excadrill being able to benefit from the opposing T-Tar's sand. So this could go strange. Swinegard is truly awful. Facts. Obviously, triple axle Weavile is super good. I'm pretty sure it's banded Weavile, just based on how much damage they're doing. Especially if it comes in now, yeah, that's definitely 1,000,000% banded. And he is looking to skewer a kill right now with triple axle. That is pretty strong. Now the question is, does Excadrill just win here? No. This is tough. He'd have to be landing a ton of triple axles. Oh, interesting. The fact that this didn't die is actually massive, because it does stall out one extra turn of sand, which is kind of exactly what Davo needed here to win. But he needs to start sacking his T-Tar pretty soon. I want the 1%. Oh, interesting. You hate to see it. You hate to see the miss. Though I don't know, is Weavile going to be enough to win the game at this point? Maybe with banded knockoff. I mean, knockoff kills Mammoth One. The question is, does it kill Gastrodon? I don't think it does. But this is Choice Scarf Nidoking. Yeah, as expected, doesn't kill. But T-Tar basically infinitely walls out Nidoking, so I think this game might be Devo's. See what plays. The fact that lived is crazy. I'm a little surprised not to see Oma and Root Beer get through, but honestly, T-Tar is overrated. That's gonna be like the biggest meme of. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm never gonna show my face on my own server ever again after this. After T-Tar. So, Davo, if you're okay to go straight into playing Shackled Founder. Because I know Shackled has to get ready for work soon. Crazy good games, though. You guys are against each other. So whenever you want to load up those games, I'll be right here. So by the looks of it, perhaps we might see a Davo plot and tournament. Okay, no problem. So we have Med versus. Let's see what Plat brings out this time. Are we going to see more Fairy, more Ghost? You know, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see a random grass from Plat. Really curious to see what's going to be brought out here. I know Davo plays a lot of types too. I feel like Dark is usually... yeah, like what's the best play against Ghost and Fairy? They kind of cover each other's bad weaknesses pretty nicely. So I'm curious if there's any like catch-all type that Davo could rock up with. Or Med could rock up with even. Here's to see Poison. Probably a safe enough bet. Aye, I think Poison's a safe bet here. Especially if it's Cheese Spikes and Med can get rid of the Gengar. Scary Lady inbound is true. Yeah, see, Dark eats Ghost easily, but it's awful versus Fairy. Maybe Steel's like a relatively safe middle ground, but even still, I don't think Steel necessarily loses to necessarily beats Ghost. Gengar losing Levitate has never been relevant. Absolute facts. Like, if Gengar have Levitate here, I think Toxic Spikes would eat this team alive. But triple regen, it's pretty hard for Ghost to break that. Not impossible. With enough setup and enough, like, specs damage, I do think it's doable, but it's going to be tough. I like the way so far I've only seen one random match so far. I don't think Shadow Ball kills. Shadow Ball far from kills, actually. That did surprising little damage for... Which could be Specs, but by the damage, I think it's Scarf. Because I feel like Specs does more. I don't know if Spadef drop really... Like, it obviously matters. But at the same time, I think you're insane to stay in on a 49% hit and lose a potentially good wall here. Now that said, Future Sight's actually pretty good here. Okay. Oof. These Spadef drops, though. Pretty nasty. Interesting. Interesting to swap and lose their balloon there, because I think that kind of makes Nidoking a lot better. Interesting plays here. We know from earlier in the tour, assuming it's the same team, if Medic was paying attention, we know this is going to be Shadow Sneak Sacred Sword, which means Pex kind of walls it out like crazy. Especially if it's Haze Pex. Like, that did kind of crazy little damage. And Foul Play is pretty nice. I do think Amoonguss eats this. Pretty easy. This is actually a Spadef dropping machine. Now, sporing the Gengar is kind of crazy good. I'm thinking once this is dispatched, if it's Toxic Spikes on Toxapex, it might just win the game. And we know right now they're locked into Shadow Ball, and it's not going to kill Pex. We know Shadow Sneak's not going to kill. It's obviously going to do a decent bit of damage, but Slowking can always recover it back. Now, this is honestly probably the biggest threat to the team, is potentially Corsola. I mean, what does... Besides trying to fish for a Toxic or a Poison, realistically, what can it do versus Corsola? I mean, I guess Burn on Weezing. Then Plat could essentially, potentially go into her Chandelure here. That did a surprising amount of damage. 23 is not bad. I'm surprised Medic... I'm surprised they focused on getting rid of their Stealth Rocks here. Yeah, that's a hell of a roll in Gengar's favour. It's a weird position where, like, obviously Slowking is super effective from ghost types, but at the same time, its Spadef is so insanely good that you almost want to keep it alive. Is this Scarf, though? I have a feeling like it's not Scarf Knight illegal. But hey, any damage that can be done on that is pretty nice. That is one bulky Humongous too. That definitely has a lot of HP investment. Unfortunate first turn wake here. Because realistically, we don't want to see Nidoking take too much damage. But as long as Plat doesn't seem to be running a defogger, it's going to potentially limit Gengar a lot. It has 3 more swap-ins before it dies. And with regen course so good, I think Medic would rather have rocks down on their side of the field, or have rocks up on the field in general, than they would getting them away. But the other unfortunate thing about Cursula is, especially against special attackers, its strength sap will eventually start to whittle away and become quite poor. I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, Toxic. Okay. I feel like Toxic might have sealed the deal this game. Because those rocks are going to start hurting. That said, potentially Dragapult could be trouble. We don't know what set it is. We haven't seen it earlier in the tour. It could be like a sub DD. It could be sub disable. We're not really sure. Could be Hex. Unfortunately for poor Cursula, it is just slowly going to be draining HP here. It almost feels like staying in with it is the only play realistically. Because it's lost a lot of value this game. Especially on a poison team that doesn't have too much physical attackers. Now what Chandelure does, I'm not sure, and it could be terrifying. Because Rocks means Nightingale goes dead. Ooh, okay. Good swap into Slowking there. That Psychic did very little. Honestly, I think Med might be one of the biggest underdogs in this tour. They're really showing up quite impressively. Yeah, so this screams Hella Dragon Dance to me. A poison there would have been very nice. But this thing gets kind of walled out badly by Weezing. And foul play Mungus. Yeah, just kind of eats this thing for breakfast. I just regens it all back. Personally, I really like Rocky Helmet Amoongus. But I can see the appeal in Black Sludge too. Oh my god, they didn't kill. That's kind of crazy. Honestly, I don't think that was a bad play necessarily. Well, it wasn't the best play. Like, having that sack for later in the game would have been nice, but obviously regening the Amoongus is still super important too. The problem is there much that Med can do to actually beat Gengar? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think Nidoking dies Shadowclaw. And it does not matter because the Sleep Orange U is massive here. I feel like Med is really showing to be one of the absolutely underrated players. I think as long as Amoonguss and Pex are healthy, there's no out for poor Aegislash. No matter how much it wants the Swords Dance up, Pex can pretty much always wall it out, and Scald is going to start killing it. And Toxic on Chandelure, especially when it's not going to miss, pretty much deals the deal of the game as well. Bear in mind, we also have a full HP Wheezing on board. Earthquake comes out here super free. Short of like a crit Shadow Ball, which I mean wouldn't surprise me too much given how prevalent this Gengar has been this game. This Sneak come out here. Though I think Medic is right to not throw it. I think Slowking is so important in the end game, as it kind of walls out Chandelure like crazy. Even if Chandelure chooses to Flamethrower, it really can't. Not while Toxapex and Slowking are on the field. I feel like King's Shield is also just delaying the inevitable. At +2, Foul Play, even in shield form. Oh no, anyway. Exactly. Sorry, but that's kind of exactly how it is. Like, Shadow Sneak is barely going to do tickle damage. And Amoonguss can Spore here. It doesn't necessarily have to. Because Slowking and I think Earthquake just wins the game. It makes sense. Weezing has absolutely zero purpose here, so Med might as well have gotten their regen off. Just in case some kind of crazy, like, orangey super Spadef drop crits. So, huge plays there from Med. Brings us to round 2, Natdex. I wonder where you're going to see the same teams again. Ghost could be potentially nice, but I think Ghost actually loses the normal matchup. Partially due to the fact it can't spam its stab. So yeah, Fairy versus normal. Indeed, we do have the same matchup. Now again, Beware isn't great here. But they can't as well. I don't think Plat can willy-nilly set up their Azumarill, not while Ditto is on the field. I kind of want to see this take to game 3 just because I want to see some more randoms. It could be nice to see. But again, I think Med absolutely hates spikes in this team. Like, not having a bird on the Natdex is crazy. Weirdly enough, my go-to is Toucannon. But I just think spikes are super good against this matchup with no defogger. Interesting to see a plot. Not what I would have thought to go for, especially not when there's a Ditto on the field. Because a +2 scarfed Togekiss could potentially do a lot of work against Med. Or a lot against work against Plat. Oh no. Gosh, just crazy damage here. Hopefully no para for the Togekiss. Though I feel like Plat's playing with fire here. Roosted in front of a Discharger. Interesting plays. Like, the problem with setting up here is anytime you try set up, Ditto is just going to copy you. Which is pretty rough. Obviously not great. This RNG is crazy. How Med hasn't paralyzed yet is beyond me. Truly, Plat has made some sort of evil deal. Is this like Toxic Bliss? I feel like it's the main reason that she'd want to come out here. Because being seeded and Drain Kiss is going to get Comfey back so much health. I'm also surprised we haven't seen entry hazards. It's, I guess, very possible that this is Screen's Klefki. But on this kind of match, this kind of team, I feel like spikes are better. Because you don't have any immediate, like, specs threats or anything. Unfortunate, but not undeserved. That's all I can say. And the fact we still haven't seen Discharge Para is just beyond me. Okay, there we go. It was only a matter of time. RNG really be a cruel mistress. I feel like Beware doesn't have too much use here as well. I think a Draining Kiss sweep could be inbound. Actually, no, because as long as Comfey isn't running Leech Seed, I feel like Blissey does pretty well against it. Interesting. I'm surprised that took so little damage, but I'm also surprised that Plat opted for this play. Because I think this is slightly worse than she anticipated. Because now a Ditto is about to get a chunk of HP back. As it turns out, probably just enough. Because as long as his Ditto's on the field, I don't think that Plat can be too brash with the Resumeral. Rutrow. The fact it's Darkest Lariat probably means it's Drain Punch Darkest Lariat, which means it gets super walled by this team. Is it just some kind of weird long game where they're trying to bait in the nasty plots so Ditto can copy? Respectable if so. I'm surprised we've not seen entry hazards from either side of the field. I think that's exactly what both sides realistically need to speed this game up. The Ditto comes in here. Does it want to KO at Air Slash? I'm not too sure. Yeah, that I think might be what sealed the deal. I think. What the hell? RNG's been crazy this game, to be fair. I don't think Medic has been getting good RNG at all. That could be game. I don't think Quick Attack is going to be strong enough to kill. And I feel like this outspeeds everything now because of power on both Lopunny and Ditto. Of course, naturally it could miss. It's not impossible. The plays, the Magnet Rise. Pretty interesting to see. I'm not sure what value that got over just staying in with Togekiss and clicking Air Slash, because I really don't think it killed. Hmm. This... I'm not sure. Does Quick Attack kill Azumarill? Probably not, realistically speaking. But again, we just roost here infinitely and get some nasty plots up and kind of repeat the cycle all over again. Unfortunately, I do think that Beware is kind of just a big dud in this matchup. Okay, we know it's a slow Togekiss, which I guess explains why she didn't use it against the... Why she didn't use it against the Diggersby. But now the Diggersby Z move is eaten, I think this thing just wins. It has to survive through so much power Flint Shocks. I'd be screaming right now for real. Looks like we're all coming down to randoms. Fairy truly is a janky type. There's no other way of looking at it. I think this is settled as anyone should settle this in randoms. Okay, so this will determine who's in the grand finals versus the winner of Shackle and Davo. And here we go. So we have dragon or ground versus bug or fighting. I mean, obviously, optimally, Plat wants this to be bug versus ground. Unoptimally, it's fighting versus literally anything. I feel like Buzzwole might be running Ice Punch too, which is super good. I should pull out a Heracross now. Okay, it's bug. Now, unfortunately, this could be like Coil, Power Construct's Zygarde. But this is actually really bad for Plat here, I think. Like, standing in front of the face of a subbed up Zygarde is not something you realistically want to see. Because we can't Toxic. I don't even think Armaldo can break in one, especially not if it's Coil. And Power Struct kinda bonkers, though. Now, Dynamax obviously can turn things around. Why is that so weak? Why is Armaldo such a beast? Such a tank? Truly a real one. I'm surprised we're not seeing kind of Coil or Dragon Dance. I mean, it's very possible it's not running those movesets. But the fact it's sub almost certainly means to me it's Power Construct. Okay, it's Dragon. It's not the optimal matchup, I think. Ground versus Bug would be better. But I absolutely love this matchup in early Gen 8. Back when I used Scarf or Bombi to take care of, what's his name, Dracovish. When I killing Dracovish with Scarf or Bombi was actually hilarious. How did it survive? That's crazy. It's actually crazy that Armaldo survived this. And getting rocks down is pretty nice for Dragon, especially if they have like Salamence, Kyurem, Dragonite, anything. I feel like knowing this, Buzzwole goes a lot stronger in this game. Now, would I have taken it against even a -2 Latios? Probably not. Oh, it's Scarf. Interesting. Shame it's not Scarf Ice Punch, is all I can say. Forbidden Buzzwole Jutsu, that would be so good. One day. I'm gonna petition until Smogon puts Forbidden Buzzwole Jutsu. Oh, okay, they have Naganadel. That's just not okay. Because this thing's either Nasty Plot or like Scarf Flamethrower. Either way, it pretty much just wins. Yeah, I mean, like, that's not gonna kill. Oh, it's air slash. And does Bug have, like, literally anything to outspeed 222 speed? Because that thing is crazy fast. Oh yeah, there's Excelgor. But can Excelgor KO this? I mean, realistically, what does it have? It has, like, Bug Buzz, Water Shuriken, Sludge Bomb. They're not gonna KO. I mean, maybe Bug Buzz does just because of the 12 level difference, but it's a bit of a stretch. I think Plat might be in kind of a scary position right now. Very unfortunate it wasn't Ice Beam. Ice Beam would have been pretty nice. Of course, we could Dynamax here. Ha ha. I think that might be what they call game. I mean, Genesect is pretty good, but surely this thing has Flamethrower, right? Unless it's Extreme Speed Genesect, I think it kind of just blows up. And even then, I don't think Extreme Speed Genesect kills. Yeah, I mean, I like the attempt. Because I'm pretty sure Max Airstream just blows this up too. Yeah, Naganadel kind of absolutely busted. I mean, I don't know, maybe going into Caesar earlier. Maybe going to Caesar earlier was the play, but even then, I'm not sure that was enough to win. Hey man, Crest of 500, I just got out of work. Hey, thanks so much, Aaron. I really appreciate that, man. And again, thank you for being such a fantastic supporter all this time. It has not gone unnoticed. Of course, it's heavy duty boots elements. And with that, it looks like we're going to see Medic in the grand finals. I think Poison is just a cracked type in tours. Uh, Blastfalloon. Okay. Good games from both of you guys. That was impressive. Cheetar shouldn't be on dark. Sorry. I will never live any of this down. I understand. I'm cursed. But that's okay. So we have Med. They are in the finals against the winner of Shackled or Davos. So this could be a very interesting end of tour. Definitely some surprising upsets in this tour. Really cool to see some newer players as well climb their way to the ranks. Like, I haven't seen Shackled play much at all, or Med play much at all recently, so it's really cool to see two players I'm less familiar with being invited to the Invitational to doing so well. Especially taking down some big names like Davo potentially and Oman Rupier and Plat. This is pretty exciting, I gotta say. And again, if this is something people are interested in, It's something I would definitely be happy to do again. Maybe when we hit 1,000 subscribers, which will of course be in Generation 9. And do expect a lot of stuff to come out in Generation 9. Just gotta wait for the invite for the next one. So once this invitation comes through, we will be on our way to the grand final soon. And so far, we know Med is in it. Here we go. We have Steel versus Electric. I think Electric is definitely really good here, especially once Excadrill is taken care of. That said, Excadrill is kind of scary. A burn from Rotom Mow is crazy. We should do a tour right at the beginning of Gen 9 so everyone goes in without knowing what's best. That sounds actually really sick. I'd be down for that. I'd be totally down for that, because it'd probably take a week or two for Monotype to become a tier anyway. Rotro, Flash Fire, bad. That sounds really sick, especially because I think Generation 9 is going to have like so many different, hopefully, metas, assuming we have things like Pokemon Home and DLC again, which is kind of one of the main reasons I love Generation 7 so much, Generation 8 so much. We just had so many metas. Like, Generation 7 was a cool meta, but it was kind of prolonged. The only big shakeups we had was the occasional ban and maybe a new mythic or maybe like a new form or something coming out. But Generation 8 just had so many crazy different formats, which I loved. So yeah, Heatran here, kind of scary. Obviously, Excadrill, very scary. Not sure if I would have gone hard into Zerk here. Not having Rotom Wash is also pretty big in this matchup. I can understand why, especially for Mold Breaker Excadrill, it's super important. But then personally, I really like the Magnezone Zapdos core on Electric. Because once Excadrill decides to lock itself into Rock Slide, Zone just comes in and eats for free. I think in theory, realistically speaking, I think I think Electric actually wins this matchup, especially if it runs Zone. I mean, Zone is just crazy good, and right now Shackled is absolutely playing around the Zapdos very well, which I think is exactly what it needs to do. Especially now when something like Zera Aura isn't free anymore because it runs the risk of getting burnt by Lava Plume. Jojo reference, that's actually a pretty funny name, gotta admit. Great play in the knockoff. That cannot be denied. I guess on Showdown, because not everyone is going to have access to the Switch or a copy of Scarlet and Violet upon launch. Because I have stupid strong strat planned for based on leaks. I mean, obviously, don't post anything about leaks here, Cake, but I've seen the leaks myself. That's it. I'm not going to be, of course, discussing them here, but I am very much looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to doing a lot of videos when Generation 9 comes around. I feel like this Heatran Excadrill core is so strong right now. It's probably Choice Scarf Excadrill. I feel like on Mold Breaker and Steel, it's the general go-to set. I'm trying to look at leaks, only trying knowing what's seeing some trailers. Yeah, a lot of people are going in pretty blind about the game, Aaron, which is very fair. It's not how I'm watching the game personally, but I completely understand if that's how someone wants to play the game. So I respect that, and I'm not going to be leaking anything because of that. Stealing moment is right. Too many stealing moments in this tournament for my liking, if I'm being honest. I do think Excadrill, I do think Zeraora is like crazy good in this matchup. But unfortunately, I do think Excadrill still kind of goes crazy. Now, Coco might be a free sack here. I don't know what it does in this game. That was strong, all things considered. Oof. Playing this Excadrill so well is going to be tough for Devo to come back from. I think one of the biggest, and obviously it's not something he could have known in advance, is Toby Fox properly in the soundtrack, not just a one-time thing? I'm actually not sure. I've not heard any Gen 9 music. Music is like oddly one of the things I don't want to spoil for myself. Like, I'm happy to look at the Pokedex and all that kind of stuff, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing or hearing all the music in game before I look it up on YouTube or something. But maybe that's just me. Okay. This changes everything. Letting that Exca die actually might be a game changer here, because now I think Zera goes kind of crazy. Does Sucker Punch kill? I'm not so sure. It does. At -1, I feel like unless it's Banded or maybe Life Orb. Yeah, music and story as well. I have nothing about story. Ah, okay. If it's bulk up, I don't see a way around this. Especially bulk up Plasma Fist, so it doesn't have to even drop Spadef for defense. It's kind of crazy to me how just one misplay, like dropping the Exca potentially lost the entire game. It just goes to show how important Eska is in this matchup. GG. So we're on to Not Dexy next. That was a crazy comeback from Davo. I mean, I really expected a loss there, because to be fair, I do think Shackled, no offense, outplayed the entire time with the Exca Heatran core. But this is what I said earlier. I think this matchup is actually quite hard for Steel. Unlike T-Tar and Dark. T-Tar is overrated in Dark. I'm going to say it again. I'll die on this pointless hill. Why? I don't know, but I will. Not Dex better than Gen 8? Yes, I agree. I agree, Aaron, completely. So whenever we have the next game, of course, we'll boot this up. But just without divulging any spoilers, is everyone looking forward to Generation 9? I'm actually pretty out for it. I'm pretty buzzed to play. I have the day off work for it too. Well, not specifically for it, just happened to be that my busy week finishes the day before Gen 9 comes out, so I have like 4 days off in a row. So I'm pretty buzzed to play it. I've only heard good things. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I've been sitting on the bus on the way to work just reading leaks and stuff, and it got me so hyped. So, okay, we have Flying versus Water. I think we saw this matchup something similar earlier. It's going to be a tough one, but with Mantine, I do think Davo has a significant advantage here. I agree, yeah. From what I've seen, like, it looks like it's going to be so fun competitively and casually, which is good. I'm actually, I've got the dual pack, both Scarlet and Violet. I've pre-ordered. I'm going to play Scarlet, and my wife is going to play Violet. So we're looking forward to that. Oof. Okay, this matchup, I turned away for like 2 seconds, and already two things are just absolutely obliterated. I'm looking forward to seeing your content. I appreciate that, Aaron. I'm looking so much forward to making content for it. Like, it's gonna be so exciting. Coridon, is he the past guy from Scarlet? Because he's sick. I really like him. He kind of reminds me of like a friendly Monster Hunter monster, which I really like. Water bad, please buff, bring back fish, please no. I actually can't believe how long it took fish to get banned. Like, it's crazy. Ancient Dude, yeah, he's cool. I really like him. I like him more than the future one, personally. Also, I've always traditionally gone the red version, so that's my question. Actually, now that I have community posts, I'm probably going to start doing like daily questions about Pokemon and stuff. I've always gone the red versions. What have other people done? Like, is anyone loyal to their colors? Like, I did red, gold, ruby, pearl, so on and so forth. So I'm pretty loyal to my red versions, and probably will remain doing so. I mean, growing up, my best friend always got the blue versions, so it was always fun just, as kids be able to trade and stuff. Blue, no. See, red's like anime main character vibes, and that's what I'm about. Sorry, I've kind of stopped commentating on the tournament because I saw Celesteela on the field doing Celesteela things. You started Pearl and then went Soul Silver. You reason traitor. I'll spec Sky over your life. Okay, but my counter argument to that is Primal Groudon. I usually pick red. Yes, nice choice. Ooh. Gunk Shot crit there was surprising. I mean, I did kind of expect a Gunk Shot, but the crit O-Coin is not what I expected. The legends are just more interesting. I agree. I agree with that. Okay, that is a fast Pelipper if I've ever saw one. This Greninja is potentially Ice Beam. Now, I do wonder, did we just sack Landorus here? That did 0 damage. I feel like Lando doesn't have any use in this game whatsoever, or is it kind of just going to be a free sack later on? My counter argument is Dexit. A counter argument to red being better? Or... I feel like Landorus doesn't have a huge use in this game. Because it's only a matter of time, I think, before either Mantine, exactly, as I say, gets frozen on the swap-in, or gets gunk-shotted on the swap-in. Now, luckily for Davo, it does thaw out pretty fast. But yeah, that gunk shot actually did less than I expected. To be fair. Also, the Scarlet exclusive, without going into spoiler territory, has my favorite new dragon and might end up being my favorite Pokemon ever. Wow, okay, that is seriously high praise. I think my favorite Pokemon of all time is, well, Camerupt probably. But my favorite legendary, it's kind of a toss-up for me between Groudon and Kyurem Black. I'm a huge fan of both of them. He's either going to switch into Monsoon or use Ice Beam. I mean, I feel like Davo's in a very good position here. As long as Steela exists, especially if it's Protect Steela, it can do a lot of work. That Skull Burn is also huge, because now Mantine pretty much walls this out. Unless it's for some reason Thunder Punch, which isn't impossible, but not seen too often. I'm not sure what Shackle's endgame here is. Interesting, Shattered Psyche. And even on the crit that did so little. I'm guessing it's coming from Zen Headbutt. Carrot is one of the coolest designs in my opinion, but I wish it was better competitively. See, I don't know. In a weird kind of way, I like how absolutely terrible it is. It kind of makes it cute to me. Okay, so the thing is Choice Scarf. Which means I think it has to rely on freezing the Mantine. GG's. So that was a tough matchup. I think if Shackled had more Rain Sweepers, it definitely could have gone differently. But unfortunately for him, it was more of a kind of balanced water team, which I think just loses to the ultimate balance that is water. Okay, good night, Shackle. Thanks for playing. And congratulations for making it to the semi-finals. So that's 2-0 to Davo. Bad Pokemon are more. I completely agree. Like I love Mega Camerupt on Nat decks. I know he's terrible, but it's still very funny. Med, are you good to play Devo? I'm curious to see. Like as I said earlier in the tournament, I think Davo is the most improved player I've known from Generation Eight. Like how much he's improved has been crazy. Like even thinking back to the first tournament that I think he played in, um, to now is just like he went from being I think maybe losing first round or second round to coming into the grand finals in the end of generation invitational. So that is crazy levels of improvement. Opinions of Mega Camerupt. Mega Camerupt is an absolute legend. Mega Camerupt is just as good, if not better, than Camerupt because he's a camel. But also Tropius is like up there for one of my favorites too. He's so like I don't know. I think Tropius is such a loser, but I love him. I wish Ampharos was a good Pokemon competitively. It's such an underrated design. Shame it's mediocre. I completely agree. Ampharos or Mareep is a top five Pokemon of all time for me. Ampharos is high up there for me too because its design is absolutely peak. It's the reason I won't play Crystal. Because why would I play Crystal with no Ampharos when Gold is right there with Ampharos, with Mareep? Let's snooze. I hate Celesteela so much. I don't know if my hatred has been born from competitive or just a general ambiguity to its design. Like, it's not a terrible design, but I'm fairly ambiguous towards it. But I also hate it competitively. I think it's such a nightmare competitively. Okay. Mind flapjacks between octopus, cutest thing ever changed my mind. Is the flapjack octopus? What's a flapjack octopus? Clavipus? Okay, nice. So we're back here in the grand finals with Dark versus Poison. So we've seen Poison a few times already from Medic, and Weezing is crazy good. But we know Davo's team is also quite scary. I do love Ultra Beasts. I gotta say, Ultra Beasts are pretty sick. So this game here will determine our my very first end of generation seasonal end of generation invitational tournament winner. It's hard to know who to vote for because honestly, they're both huge underdogs. Like I didn't expect Medic to see Medic this far, but they did incredibly well over the tournament. And as I said earlier, Davo is just a really, really improved player. Win with Cheetar so we can rub it in Alex's face. I need to rectify. I think Cheetar is overrated in Ladder Dark. Maybe in tournament it's fantastic. More Ultra Beasts would be sick. I think the Ultra Beasts had absolutely amazing designs. I think a lot of Gen 7's Pokedex was absolutely carried by how good the Ultra Beasts and like Tapus and stuff were. I think we know from earlier, this is Toxic Toxapex. Which is honestly really bad for Davo's team. Okay, hear me out. And no spoilers about Generation 9 before anyone says anything. But Miss Drevis should have been Ghost Fairy. Because the Banshee is literally a fairy in Irish mythology, so it just makes perfect sense. Most of the Gen 7 decks are full of top tier Pokemon. I mean, like, looking back at the designs, I can't remember too many. I love the UBs. I loved the Tapus. And Golisopod was an absolute legend. In this matchup, though, coming back to the tournament, I do think Goltrace is crazy good here. If it sets up. If it's so much as let have like one nasty plot or one agility, I think it could be game. But the problem is, obviously, Toxic Toxapex is not going to want to get anywhere near that. Also, the strange interaction with Sheer Force and Berserk, which I thought was a glitch for the longest time. Stelazzo Mimikyu Laurentis Lunala. You know what? Bruxish is an amazing design, and that's a cross I'm willing to fight for. I'm willing to die on that hill. I think it's hideous, but I think it's set out to be hideous, and it did that perfectly well. Like, they set out to make a hideous fish, and make a hideous fish they did. So for that reason alone, I really can't fault it. Actually, another question. Did anyone here play Legends Arceus? I never actually played it, though I feel like I should because I own the game. Interesting that Weezing comes in here. Is it T-Spike's Weezing? It's strange team, and it actually did such little damage. This looks like it's definitely Vest T-Tar. The problem is, I'm not sure. It can get burnt by Will-O-Wisp here, and what's the answer to that? I honestly think Weavile is pretty good here. Potentially Hydreigon too, depending on the Hydreigon set it is. I think... See, the problem with T-Tar always coming in here, I feel like Amoonguss always comes in as an answer to it. Which makes a pretty rough stalemate here for both players. Like, sure, T-Tar comes in, takes very little damage, but then on the Earthquake or the Stone Edge, I feel like Pex or Amoonguss always comes in. Oh, okay. That was a huge play from Davo. I think it was risky. Had they collect Earth Power, it could have been goodbye to one of their best tools, but, I mean, amazing play to stay in and take that. Now, unfortunately, Toxic won't miss, and a Toxic Gold Trace is pretty nasty here. Because Gold Trace kind of carries the endgame, in my opinion. That said, doing this much damage to all their regen core, very powerful. It opens up, I think, Hydreigon and Weavile to do some insane work. Like, just doing that, a lot of damage on Toxapex is really good for Weavile in the late game. Because their regen core is super battered up now. The question is, should they keep this thing alive? Do you like shiny hunting? Asking in the chat on Alex. Personally, no, not really. I liked it a bit in RS when you had like the Dex Nav, but not necessarily my kind of thing. Okay. T-Tar doing big damage here to Amoonguss. And Fire Blast is always threatening to Amoonguss. Earthquake for Toxapex and Slowking, so this actually might be kind of bad for Medic here. We had some fascinating tournament plays and tournament teams here. Okay, Amoonguss going down is pretty big. Obviously, I can understand the play here. It's to try and get in... Probably to try and keep Pex healthy. But Pex is going to be worse and worse versus things like Hydreigon. And eventually Weavile is going to do a lot of damage to it, even with its item knocked off. I've been soft resetting for Charmander since May. Fair play. That is some dedication that I am not dedicated to do. This Vest T-Tar has gone crazy. It's unfortunate that Moltres is poisoned. But that surviving is absolutely insane. Now, of course, it does make Nihilego actually really good here in the endgame. Which is something I didn't consider. Because Gleam is going to be really strong. In fact, I don't know if there's an answer to Gleam. T-Wave? Okay, that actually didn't do too much. 50 to 60k, oh my god. This is Banded, and it has to be Ice Shard. Unfortunately, that just gives Pex back the HP it needs so badly. It's hard to say between Davo and Medic at this point. Because obviously Nihilego goes crazy in the endgame, but at the same time Ice Shard always keeps it in check. I think both sides at this point need to make some like good doubles. Or get some good luck with like flinches here. I think one good read on the Weavile, and this game is over. Like, that was a very good play there, because something just dies here. Or not. Okay, I'm surprised how little damage that knockoff did. I kind of thought knockoff would 2-hit KO Pex at this point. That's huge. I think Davit was going to need to either set up an air slash or, sorry, an agility or a nasty plot on Goldtrace to win here, but it's also timed thanks to the toxic stall. I don't know there's ever a position where Med just doesn't click recover here. They're in a pretty strong position to just wall out the Weavile. I'm going to cry and also cry. I mean, if this is Earth Power, it could be Scarf Earth Power. I feel like they're usually Flash Cannon, Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, probably Draco. So chances are good it's not running Earth Power, but that would be pretty nice here. I'm really not sure where this end game's going to go. I do think one nasty plot on Goldtrace does so much. If this wasn't Scarf and it was a bluff, huge plays. Exactly. This has been bluffed to be Scarf all along, and it's going to drop suddenly a nasty plot. It changes the game. I'm thinking Scarf. I'm kind of on Medic's side. I think this is Scarf, but I'm not in the position where I have to make that call. I'm in the position of watching this right now. And it's a hard call to make. Oh, okay. Well, that's crazy. And also very bad for them here because they decided to just get rid of the -2 Draco. Interesting play there. Yeah, Gyler Slowking is just absolutely beastly for a Spit Fall. Especially with Vest and Regen, like, it's borderline broken. Oh, will this video be uploaded afterwards? Yeah, I think it's set to automatically upload, so it should be. Unfortunate that Fiery Wrath, or sorry, that Goldtrace is going to die to Toxic. Toxic in this earlier was a huge play from Medic. I think that was the deciding play. Even this crit, it's not going to matter. This tour's gone a lot longer than expected. I agree. I guess that's the issue with playing matches one after another, as opposed to playing them all consecutively. Because this could have been done in like an hour, but if we ever had more than 8 players, I would just have them play consecutively. And just jump between games randomly. Unfortunately, yeah, I think Pex just walls here with Toxic. Has Med dropped a game this entire play? Okay, they dropped one versus Plat. Sometimes I wish I had Corrosion on Mandy. Facts. That's true too, because everyone's using Steela. Steela moments happened a lot here. Which I'm not happy with. It's gonna be like 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I get to go to bed. And what do I have to show for it? Steelas. Steelas everywhere. Okay, good game there for the first time. It was a very close one. I think the Weavile players played very nicely. It's just unfortunate having Toxic to the goal trace. I think maybe Davo should have saved it against not Pex. But it's hard to guarantee that. So currently, Med is 1-up versus Davo. And if they win this, they take the entire tournament home. Every time I sell a steal in match cards, yeah. It's like, remember, you've seen those videos on YouTube where it's like the Lord of the Rings, but it speeds up every time they say ring, or like Shrek, but it speeds up every time Shrek takes a step. It's like that, Pokemon Showdown, but the game slows down every time someone takes out Celesteela. Okay, so here we are, normal versus fire. This is this matchup can really go either way. I think fire has really good mix of physical and special offenses, which normal doesn't particularly appreciate. But at the same time, Ditto can be kind of crazy here. Why am I on my wrong alt? Let me change that. Obviously, Diggersby is very strong here early. I don't think Earthquake actually kills. Breakneck Blitz here, I think definitely doesn't kill. But I'm not 100% sure if Heatran kills either. That did so much damage though for a resist. And the very unfortunate Magma Storm miss. That is really not good. 2 AM gang, facts, facts. Some very, very unfortunate RNG here. Of course, Cinderace can click Pyro Ball here. But I don't even know if it lives a quick attack. I mean, Cinderace isn't exactly known for its bulk. Of course, Victini goes pretty hard in the endgame, but that's even assuming it gets that far. I wonder was staying in with Torkoal in the first place the better play, because there's no way Earthquake would have killed Torkoal. I don't think Breakneck Blitz would have killed Torkoal. And Lava Plume could have potentially burnt, or even Yawn or Body Press could have done a lot of damage too. This Diggersby is actually going crazy in Natdex. I think one of the biggest reasons being, surprisingly, no one has taken any hazard control versus this normal team. Now, of course, that's going to be really strong. I think Torkoal is going to be just an absolute amazing mon here. Davo's on 2 AM gang? Absolutely. We're almost 2 AM gang. Shoutouts to everyone else watching this video right now, the stream right now, who's at almost 2 AM gang. Honestly, 13% is surprisingly a lot for Torkoal, considering how bulky this thing is. Are you 2 AM gang 2, Arrow? We do be the 2 AM gang. More flame bodies next time, facts. I mean, undeniably Rox is good here. Especially if Davo has heavy duty boots. I think it's nice to be able to rapid spin these away. And honestly, I don't think Fire has to worry much about Beware. Even if it bulks up, realistically, it can't do a huge amount to Torkoal. Or a well-played Cinderace, depending on what it is. I even feel like a +1 Torkoal might outspeed. No, it doesn't. Not quite. Overheat? Interesting. Not what I would have expected to see. I would have thought we were going for Lava Plume here. I think the immediate power Overheat provides isn't quite worth the burn chance of Lava Plume. I don't think Darkest Lariat kills here, by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, what can Charizard realistically do? Perhaps Roost Up? That did so much. 34 is kind of crazy against the Blissey. Great swap as well. Because now something's eating a Fireball. Whether it likes it or not. And short of Porygon 2, I don't think anything likes eating a Fireball. Now Lop is quite scary. Because I do think Lop can eventually whittle down Torkoal to the extent that it won't be able to rapid spin. Great play, though, on the fake out. Because return may... No, it wouldn't have killed, but it probably would have come close. And that close combat did so much damage. Obviously, they can take Invictini afterwards. I mean, Ditto afterwards. But with a clever sack, this looks like it could be Devo's game, potentially. I think they just need to sack their Pokemon well. Now, we've seen Overheat and Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock, but what's the last move? It could potentially be Yawn, I suppose? I guess the only benefit to not letting Medic Ditto the Torkoal is so they can't Rapid Spin away the rocks. But right now, Davo is up on sacks, which is pretty huge. Interesting. This could be quite scary, actually, for Davo. Unless we're running something crazy like Rock Slide Nape. I mean, Rock Slide Nape sounds kind of hilarious. Thunder Punch won't kill. I don't think. But I think as long as... Yes, Stone Edge Nape, that's what you want to see. I think since Davo's up in sacks here, I feel like close combat just wins here. As long as he plays this cleverly and just doesn't throw his Nape for no reason, I'm almost certain close combat just wins. Unless Medic plays around it like crazy. The problem is I feel like Blissey comes in here for free. But yeah, now Nape comes in and gets a close combat. And I don't think it matters what Laponi you can do. Because once Davo swaps out here, it comes back in and clicks close combat for the game. That was a really close game, and honestly, I think towards the end, fantastically played by Davo. I think consistently in this tournament, Davo has been... I don't want to say misplaying, but starting off slowly in games, and then absolutely pulling out towards the end game. Like, just going crazy in the end game with some good late game plays. So we're down to the finals. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is Randos. A hilariously unjust way to finish off an otherwise a fairly skillful tournament. I do really like the setup of you commenting on the battles, but I agree for bigger turns not going one by one could be cool. Yeah, if like this is only a small invitational of like 8 players, so if it was any more than 8, like if we're looking at like 16, 24 players, I just have everyone playing concurrently and I'll pop into maybe like the big games. Kind of like Blunder and Pokeyam do. Whenever they do kind of videos like this. So I'm not sure what format they've agreed on in the end. But we will see quite soon. As far as I know, they've agreed on randoms. Again, hilariously unjust. Because someone could just like roll up with, I don't know, mono flying versus mono bug or something, and realistically, what's there to do against that? Especially with how broken Max Airstream is. Okay, here we go. Random. So it's normal. Fitting. Versus either electric or dark. Funnily enough, electric and dark is two types that Davo was playing this tournament, so it's interesting to see this. I know we have some more Pico fans here in the stream. Not me. No offense. I'm a Pico fan. Normal is already proven quite strong. But honestly, electric, especially electric terrain support, could be really strong. I think both players are absolutely deserving of victory here. Alex, we want to make it toys. I stand by Tyranitar being bad on Dark. Just because he carried every single Dark match tonight, I still refuse to acknowledge. So the interesting thing about randoms is we don't realistically know much of either player's team. You're bad. Fair. Aura Wheel doing surprisingly little damage there. See, I'm never going to live this down, so at this point, I feel, why back down and apologize for my opinion when I could double down and be like, no, I'm right. Oops. For some reason, I closed. I closed the tournament by accident, which is not smart of me. I closed the tournament by accident, my bad. I do really like this, yeah, that's my bad. I get memed. I was being bullied so bad over my two-tar opinions. So what happened when I was gone? We swapped into Toga Demaru. So we know now Davo is running Mono Electric. Okay, the Zing Zap flinch there is quite nice. Honestly, any kind of chip here on this thing, because it has absolutely dire recovery. You like to see it. Obviously, Mono Rodent. Another flinch here would be massive. Oof. Because rest is kind of scary. If this is actually Davo's best against this thing, we might be screwed. Boltbeak. What doesn't it? This doesn't even know speed, does it? I mean, this thing's like stupid slow. Maybe it like slush rush up. But even then, I'm not sure if it kills. Yeah, even like if moving first, that doesn't really do too much. Like this thing is oddly bulky. The difference in vision thing exactly right. It's kind of unfair. I mean, T-Wave unit, certainly nice. 38% is nothing to sneeze at. Especially if we get some good RNG here. It is unfortunate how, I think, poor they really made Arcto's ult. Yo, what's up, Angel? How's things? Was Boltbeak just doing so little damage? It's borderline insulting. Like, I feel as it's going, Medic can pretty much just rest spam the entire game and just hope for Clutch Crawl victory. It's low-key toxicity as well. Doesn't even have the basic dignity to be high-key. Why is Eviolite type null this bulky? I'm not even sure if Dyna really makes a difference here. I guess Max Ooze, because you're losing your... Oh my god, the rest plays. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought of that earlier, but had I, that's actually incredibly smart. Was that plan? Good god, no. The basic... it really is. Like, that's all I ask. Is like, the low-key form, well, honestly, I think might look a little cooler. Just, its lack of special attack compared to high key just sucks. Like, toxicity is one thing. It's be loud and be strong. And I can't even get that going. Maybe we'll see some kind of, like, insane Togedemaru endgame. It's not impossible with, like, Zing Zap and Nuzzle plays, perhaps. But right now, I do think Davo is fighting an uphill battle. I kind of like watching Dynamax Toxtric's hair dance to the music that's playing in the background right now. Really? Okay, I think I'm more of a fan of Loki. Maybe it's the color scheme. I really like blue electricity. I think it's pretty cool, but I can understand your thought process. Now, Davo has to play kind of. It's going to be kind of hard to play around this thing because you don't want to berserk it, but obviously you want to do like damage to it, and that's exactly why we don't want to berserk it. That said, I do think Drampa is an absolute underrated beast. What? That didn't kill? I'm shocked. Life Orb as well. I didn't even think this thing was so bulky. I mean, 85 attack is not exactly spectacular. Ooh, okay. A free kill on that is kind of good. Now, I do expect, what, fake out power up punch maybe? I guess depending on what the final not revealed mon is, Zero Aura will go crazy here, but unfortunately, there's not a huge amount of, like, physical electric types. Okay, yeah, never mind. I think it's good that Davo did not swap in. Oh my god, it's a Molga. You know what? If Ash could beat the tournament with a Pikachu, Davo, you can't do. I expect Togedemaru to have some, like, insane comeback right now. The fact Toxic was the best play as well is pretty rough. I feel bad that it all came down to this. Like, so much good plays, and that we agreed as a community to do random monos even. I mean, the one thing I will say is the Rodents are fast, so it's not impossible that they could win, but I think they're going to struggle to break Drampa. Like, with some Zing Zap luck, maybe? Spiky Shield? Okay. Or it just explodes. No, I do think Aura Wheel kills this. That's 120 base power. GG's though. So with that, very unfortunate final game for poor Devo. Medic actually ended up becoming our first Gen 8, or our last, I suppose, Gen 8 Invitational champion. So huge congratulations to them. Medic absolutely pulled it out of the bag consistently. Davo was an amazing runner-up. I mean, there's nothing to be said for it. I still think Davo is the most improved player throughout Generation 8. But you can't say fair play to Medic for what they did in pulling this out. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the tournament. Hopefully everyone enjoyed watching, participating, wherever you did. Thank you so much again for 500 subs. It's crazy to me that I made it this far. Generation 9 hopefully can be a lot better. If you did enjoy this, I will be doing more kind of tournaments like this, and I think with that, yeah, of course, again, huge congratulations, Medic. That was an amazing turnout. Your poison team was solid. I think your normal team was good too. The Diggersby plays were fantastic. There's no denying it. And everyone, I think, played very well this tournament. And you should all be proud of yourself. And I need to go to bed because it is dangerously approaching 3 a.m. So, with that, have a good night, everyone. Take care.